When I was a kid, my dad had joint custody with my mom for a while, to a point where I would have to go and live at Stephanie's house like 3 days out of the week. And at first, it was super cool. Like, I got to meet new kids, play video games. Now I have the supervision of my mom, so I got to get away with a little bit of more shit. I was starving. I was so freaking hungry. I don't remember why. I was just freaking starving. Stephanie was cooking in the kitchen. I could tell by the smell and the sound of the grease crackling that she was cooking fried chicken. Now, I know what you guys are going to say. Of course he likes fried chicken because he's black. And to that, I would like to say, first of all, if you don't like fried chicken, there's something wrong with you, because that shit is fucking delicious. So I'm over there, man, and my mouth is watering, waiting for this food. Finally, like an hour and a half later, hell, what seemed to me to be a freaking eternity, the food is finally freaking done. We're all sitting at the kitchen table, man. I've got my fork in one hand and my knife in the other. Man, I am ready to rip this shit to shreds. She comes and she sits a plate of fried chicken and macaroni right down in front of me, and to me, the gods have just ascended from the heaven themselves and provided me with this delicious bounty. First thing I go for is the freaking fried chicken. I pick up the fried chicken and I bit into it. I spit it back onto my plate, and after a closer examination of the freaking chicken, there was slime between the meat and the skin. Well, I'm actually a pretty good cook. The first thing my mom taught me, you always thoroughly wash and you clean all poultry. And she showed me that when you take chicken out the package, there's usually this slimy film on the chicken in between the skin and the actual meat. It's very apparent that this chick did not clean the freaking chicken. I couldn't eat that shit. So then I go to the macaroni, right? I stick my fork in it and I touch it to make sure that it's not like a brick of wood or some jacked up shit. So I touch it. I notice this shit's cold, which is creeping me out because there's still steam coming off the top of the shit. When Stephanie and my dad kept asking me why I wasn't eating, I was just like, look, I already ate a whole bunch before I came, which case they got mad at me because to them I was wasting food. I remember I got in big ass fucking trouble that day because of that. A lot of trouble, actually. And it was my dad who administered the punishment. After being over this woman's house enough and having her serve me breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I started noticing that the problem with this woman, she's putting shit together that as food, the shit should not be in the same fucking vicinity. I remember one time for lunch, I'm fresh from playing outside, I'm fucking starving. This filthy bitch go ahead and nerve to come bringing me and her other kids a bunch of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which wouldn't be that bad if the bitch hadn't topped the shit off with mayonnaise, man. What's jacked up is her other kids was ripping into this shit. They are smashing this shit like it is fucking delicious. The only way I was surviving was I had some friends that live across the way from my apartment, and they would feed me. I would go to their house during lunch and sometimes dinner, and I would eat food over at that shit. Now, this was cool, but I was still presented with the problem as to where I was getting my ass whipped by my dad, and I wasn't allowed to play video games if I did not finish my dinner. I devised a plan, okay? Most of the time during dinner, Stephanie was still in the kitchen for some reason. So what I would do was, I would just give as much of my food away to her other kids as freaking possible, right? And luckily for me, they didn't know no better, so they ate this shit. But the food that they could not eat, I would shovel it into other locations in the kitchen or living room. I would just shovel it somewhere else. Now, my main place to hide this horribly corrosive tasting food was in her plants. Everything was cool until the plants started dying and shit because of how horrible the food was. I had to find different places to hide this shit at, right? So I remember one time for lunch, we're all sitting at the freaking dinner table or whatever, and she comes and brings us each bowls of ramen noodles. Now, I fucking love ramen noodles. Add insult to injury, it was chicken flavored, okay? I fucking love chicken, y'all know that shit. But as I'm about to put my fork into this shit, I check this shit. And I noticed that when I freaking dig my fork into it and I pick it up, everyone who eats ramen noodles knows the noodles usually separate, right? These bitches are sticking together. And they're kind of a different tint, orange, yellow, instead of orange is white, which is how most chicken flavored ramen noodles should be. All of the noodles are stuck together in this big coagulated ramen noodle soggy ball of some sort. So luckily enough for me, weirdly enough, Stephanie had left out and went to the store to get juice, like dollar juice. Everyone remembers government dollar juice. Like if you don't know no better, it tastes good, but if you've had actual juice, then the shit tastes like watered down orange flavored Dimetapp off up in this bitch. So I got up and I went in the kitchen. I noticed that there was big ass 2 foot tall cast iron fucking pot on the stove, still fucking boiling. I got a step stool because I was short. I get up high enough so I can look in this bitch. Tell me why. It's halfway filled to the top with boiling cooking oil, which wouldn't be that much of a problem if there still wasn't leftover ramen noodles in the freaking pot. This bitch was cooking ramen noodles using fucking cooking oil, man. I'm just like, man, this is a fucking madhouse. Like, this woman is apparently trying to kill us off. Like, you don't love someone and cook them that shit. I went back in the living room, and I've still got a little bit of time before Stephanie gets back, right? The plants are already filled with chicken, macaroni, and whatever other disgusting food-like concoctions that this woman has been trying to force down our freaking throats. Now, luckily enough for me, Kat at the time was in the bathroom. She's always trying to freaking snitch on me and shit. So she's gone. I've got a couple minutes to get rid of this shit, but I can't find a place that's close enough. I noticed over by the wall, a couple of feet away from the plants, a pair of shoes, right? I take the nasty ass ramen noodles, they're all stuck together, and I go over with my bowl. I start shoveling this disgusting crap into whoever's shoes these are, right? Luckily enough for me, I got done just as I hear the freaking toilet flush. So I run back, I sit back down, man, and I start rubbing my stomach like I just got done eating it all or whatever. I'm like, Kat comes and she sits down and she starts eating her food. Stephanie gets back with the disgusting ass rubber tire tasting ass fucking juice. She sits it on the table and she sits down and she starts eating her ramen noodles. Like these people have to have cast iron stomachs or some shit. How do you not shit out your lungs after eating that bullshit? After we all get done with our food, Stephanie gets up and she's like, hey Kat, what did I tell you about this fucking trash? You go and you take the trash out right now or I'm whooping your ass. You know, and Kat hurry up and gets up with her. She's like, oh my God, okay, Mom. She goes over to the shoes that I just got done putting the fucking ramen noodles in, man. Catherine sticks her feet in these shoes, dude. When she gets the first one all the way in there, she lets out this horrifying, shrill-ass freaking scream. Ah! And she kicks the shoe off, slinging noodles and grease every freaking where in the living room. And Stephanie beat her fucking ass over that shit. Oh, man. Oh, man, good time. So, this ass whooping she got looked legitimately fucking painful. She was just so dramatic about the way she got the ass whooping. I'm just dying laughing at her, but on the inside though, because if you laughed while someone else was getting the ass whooping, then you got slapped too. I just laughed on the inside, you know. So yeah, that's today's story time. Hope you guys enjoyed today's story. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. And with that, I'm up off of this bitch. Before I could even get out a proper apology, man, this nigga's fist is inside of my fucking face, man. And I'm on the floor. I know I can't fight, okay? I already knew it was futile. So I'm curled up like a fucking roly-poly while this nigga is kicking this shit out.